It was a bright morning in New York City. The sun was shining and a gentle breeze moved the curtains by the window. I sat at the table, watching my father study charts on his laptop. "Dad," I asked, "why do people say that some politicians control the markets?" My father smiled and lowered the screen slightly. "That's a very good question," he said. "Many people believe that only certain leaders manipulate markets. For example, some criticize Donald Trump for influencing companies and stock prices." I frowned. "So, is that true?" "Sometimes," my father replied calmly. "But here's the important part. He's not the only one. In reality, many powerful actors can influence markets. It's not just one person. It's a game where many players are involved." I leaned closer. "Can you give me an example?" "Of course," said my father. "Let me tell you what happened recently with the S&P 500. I tilted my head. "That sounds complicated." "It's not so complicated," said my father. "It's simply a way to measure how large companies in the United States are performing." He took a piece of paper and drew two lines. "Here we have a support level, around 63.61. Think of it as the floor. And here," he drew another line above, "we have a resistance level, around 64.70. That's like a ceiling." "So the price moves between the floor and the ceiling?" I asked. "Exactly." One evening, Iran made an announcement. It sounded like a threat against U.S. companies. I opened my eyes wide. "That sounds serious." "It sounded serious," my father said, "but in reality, it wasn't that important. Still, the market reacted." "What happened?" "People got scared and started selling. The price dropped quickly and even broke below the support level." "That's scary," I said. "But here's the interesting part," my father smiled. "The price quickly went back up." I looked confused. "Why would that happen?" "That," my father explained, "is called a false breakout to the downside. It happens when people panic and sell, while big investors take advantage and buy at lower prices." "So they were waiting?" I asked. "Exactly." "And then something even more surprising happened," my father continued. "What?" "Later that day, Iran announced that it was ready for peace negotiations." I blinked. "So first bad news, then good news?" "Yes," my father nodded, "and the market went up even more." I thought for a moment. "So, did the news move the market?" My father smiled. "That's the tricky part. Sometimes it looks like news moves the market, but often the market moves first and the news comes later." I sat quietly, thinking. "Does this only happen in the United States?" "No," my father replied. "It happens everywhere. For example, in Colombia." "What's happening there?" "The president, Gustavo Petro, is having problems with the central bank." "What's a central bank?" I asked. "It's like the guardian of a country's money. Its job is to keep the economy stable." "So what's the problem?" "The government is spending a lot of money," my father said. "Spending is growing at about 10%, while income is growing at only 4%. "That doesn't sound good," I said. "It isn't. That creates debt. And to control it, the central bank has to raise interest rates." "And that helps?" I asked. "It's necessary," my father said, "but it can be painful in the short term. Borrowing becomes more expensive and growth slows down." "So the president doesn't like it." "Exactly." I paused. "So is this about politics?" My father shook his head. "It goes beyond politics. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. The same problem appears everywhere." "What problem?" "The conflict between what is popular today and what is responsible in the long term." The wind had calmed and sunlight filled the room. "So what should I learn from all this?" I asked. My father smiled warmly. "Three important things. First, markets are not completely random. Powerful people influence them. Second, prices often tell the truth before the news does. And third, managing money, whether in a country or in your life, requires discipline, even when it's difficult." I nodded slowly. "I think I understand." My father closed the laptop. "That's what matters. Understanding how the world works is the first step to making good decisions." And together, we looked out the window, as the New York City sun continued to shine.